Oh, hello. Good morning. I like to act like you surprised me that it went live, even though I hit the go live button and then the little video played. It's just a little extra in the morning, but it is the morning of the final day at ServiceNow Knowledge, and I just wanted to pop on here and just give a couple thoughts because it has been a time, it has been a mood, it has been a vibe. I have enjoyed every moment on the ground, and just wanted to come and share a couple thoughts about what I'm seeing. There were a lot of announcements, and let's also keep in mind that these kind of introductions, these announcements, these conversations are also fresh off the heels of the very first introduction in a brand new series of letters. If you know, you know, which was the Australia release that ServiceNow has recently introduced to the world, that brought a whole lot of agentic capabilities in a way that ServiceNow customers have already found are really useful. And I want to share how we saw that and how that manifested. And it was all through customer conversations. We had two great customer panels. So thank you so much to the AR team for giving us that insight where we really heard from very different customers, both across kind of private sector, public sector, governments, states, that are really working to put the work of just life, the work of being a customer, into an easier, more accessible, quite frankly, seamless. It's the only word I can come up to think of it. Fashion. It shouldn't be so hard to, let's say, engage with the state of Hawaii. We heard a great conversation from the gentleman there who is really talking about making sure that the government's different agencies that were all working and still work in this federated fashion of having their own instances of tools and solutions are still delivering a consistent, expected outcome. That it's just easy to do the thing you want to do, whether you're a customer, whether you're an employee. You're just trying to get your job done. You just want to get the thing done. And I think that really started to be the theme consistently across customers. You heard customers share their ServiceNow deployment journeys, not new customers. These are existing customers who are bringing on all of these agentic tools, all of these fabrics and layers and control towers. When you're confronted with all of the new that feels required to take that step into becoming an AI forward, agentic business, to be able to be the experience driven business that you've always wanted to be, but now with agents, it feels a little bit like Sisyphus, that rock in a hill. And every customer has kind of admitted to that they saw all of the releases, they saw all of the new, they've been experimenting with AI, and they've got hundreds of experiments all over the place. And they need to figure out how to make this durable, how to make it persistent, how to make it stick. And when it came to adopting new frameworks, new solutions, on top of a graph they had already been building upon, the story was uniform across the board. And every customer said this. And they said it in their own way and in their own language, which when you're, when you're in analyst world, you kind of hear these conversations. You can tell when they're scripted. Like you can always tell. You can always tell. You can always tell when the customer has been briefed on how to say the implementation went, how to say the rollout went, how to say, because they all say the same thing. That's not what happened here. What happened here was that the customers were telling the same story, but in the context of them. We're going to hold on to the word context for a second. We'll come back to it. But what every customer relayed was the sense that rather than starting at everyone and everything is the problem, and we're going to agentify everything because now every agent has to be headless, and we're going to call everything the thing. We're going to call it the thing, and then we're going to like smack the people around. ServiceNow brought people in and specifically asked to have conversations with the line of business, the business unit, and the business leaders. They didn't come in and say, "Okay, let's get all the consultants here, and let's talk to everybody who's gonna be deploying, and let's get all the admins." That was the phase later. The first phase was talking to the business owners, to the business leaders, to talk about what it was they wanted to achieve. What were the problems they were trying to solve in real business outcome terms? And that stuck with me the entire time I was on the ground in Las Vegas, because if you lose sight of your business outcomes, those goals, and those goals will typically wrap around the customer, whether you use that as language of revenue, if you use it the language of growth, use the language of engagement, you're still trying to get that done. It's going to wrap around your people. It's going to wrap around your employees. And ServiceNow continuously put that in the center of their strategy and deployment conversations. That's important. One of the big announcements that really stood out to me certainly was the AI Control Tower. With the closing of the acquisition of Armis, you knew, and it even felt like when that closing happened, I guarantee you that whole keynote shifted dramatically, right? Because we weren't hearing about don't bolt on AI as a sidecar, although I'm still upset that Bill did not drive out onto the keynote stage in a motorcycle. He had the motorcycle jacket, granted. Still going to hold that against everybody. I might pout about it like until next knowledge, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It didn't get my motorcycle, but what I got was an AI control tower that was not just theoretical and not just there to help the agents along. It is a framework, a layer of visibility, an operating panel and system that is meant to not just orchestrate where and how your AI agents are flowing, not just through ServiceNow, but also through your enterprise, through your organization. But I heard a customer describe it, and this was the best thing I could have heard. I was standing in line for an NHL activation where ServiceNow was showcasing how decisions could be helped and how actions could be helped with AI agents. And the gentleman that was standing in front of me said that the AI control tower felt like a new blanket. It felt like a new comfort blanket. He was talking about how his kid, he's got a child younger than mine, kind of has that security blanket. And it's not that his child can't do the thing. It's not that they don't know how to do the operations. They know where they want to put the things. His son knows where he wants to go, but he needs that blanket. He needs that security layer so that he feels the confidence to be able to move forward into something that feels chaotic. And I think that for a lot of people, that's where Control Tower is going to start. AI Control Tower is going to start is that kind of security layer, not from just an Armis sense, but from a real confidence sense that I feel like I can move into a world where I'm not just experimenting with AI. I am deploying and I am having these AI solutions and these agentic AI solutions really act as that colleague, that coworker, that entity that sits side by side with all of your people in order to make your business better, your customers better, your employees better. But it comes with one of the hottest things I've seen in a very long time, which is a kill switch. And thanks to Armis and thanks to those frameworks, you now have the opportunity to have that visibility to not just see how your AI is performing, but do you have a rogue agent, which, yes, sounded very dramatic when it was on stage, but when you actually saw it in the demo was great. How do you take that rogue agent? How do you know that by accident, a setting, a configuration, a single word missed prompt unintentionally created an agent that was doing harm to your business? The second natural question to that is, what do you do when an AI agent has been injected into your workflows, into your systems that are fully intended to do harm and you don't see it? How do you catch it? How do you catch the accident? How do you catch the incorrect config? We all know they happen. How do you see it? How do you understand the damage it's doing? How do you understand what the potential for damage is? And how do you stop it? Do you have to call a committee? Do you have to raise an alarm? Is there a whole network operations center armed of people that are just waiting? No, there's someone who goes into their control tower, is alerted to that issue, and can immediately take action on it. That brings me to something very interesting that happened in the analyst Q&A with Bill McDermott. Bill was telling everybody that, now they're going to really change the game. They're going to change the face of not just security, but work and workflows and experience and all the things that ServiceNow has been talking about. The two statements from Bill that will stick in my mind for a very, very long time was that now ServiceNow and with AI Control Tower, they were intentionally looking to reprioritize the threat. It's not about threat hunting. Those of you in the security space, you know what I mean. It's not just building the wall, deepening the moat. It is about that visibility, but it's also about that capacity to prioritize. And you're prioritizing based on all of the insight and all of the understanding across every connected graph. For every fused graph, knowledge, service, customer, security. Not just knowing that Liz left her job, but that Liz left her job and was connected to all of these systems, had devices that were connected to all of these systems, had authorizations to access different things, but also had identity. And not just looking at authorization, looking at that access. How do we shut that off? How do we turn that off? Yes, for the human. We've talked about that for decades. Now we have to talk about what we do for AI. So yes, he said that they're reprioritizing the threat. And so I asked him in that Q&A, does that also mean that through ServiceNow CRM, you're reprioritizing the opportunity? Is that the game you want ServiceNow to play in? That yes, you can reprioritize the threat, but you can also reprioritize the opportunity in a single space. And his answer, quite simply, was yes. And that's the vision we saw come to life at Knowledge, right? Let's take the flow through into something like Employee Works. MoveWorks, we now have conversational AI through a front door powered by Otto, which is that AI interface for an employee to be able to come in and have all the insights into their approvals, all the insights into their work, all the insights into where they sit and what their prioritization is. But it also has access to all of the policies, all of the systems, all of the what you do when, where you do it, how you do it, and oh, by the way, how do I get paid? Right? So if you think about that new flow through, you come to a very, very powerful end conclusion. And it comes back to something else Bill said. Bill has always said, and ServiceNow has always held by the tenet that they are looking to be the platform of platforms, right? And so you used to think of ServiceNow of like, how do you get the workflows, and the workflows are coming in and they're connecting, and you can have all of your platforms now connect into this one single platform via workflows so that work doesn't stop because that's where the boundary of the platform stopped. Right? Work could continue to flow through and you didn't have those blocks. You didn't have a ticket get stuck just because it wasn't in your ITSM solution. You didn't get, a request get stuck because it had a hard time getting out of your ESM solution. You didn't have marketing get stuck, and it didn't get stuck. Field service didn't get stuck. Because if you're a platform of platforms, all of that connects and all of that flows through. And Bill said something very interesting, that the next evolution, that this next phase that ServiceNow intends to be is your graph of graphs. And that's the thing I want you all to focus on. There were a lot of announcements. Listen, Kill Switch, AI Control Tower, super cool. Everything with Employee Works, loved it. Thought it was great. So much runway. CRM, listen, go watch Martin Schneider's update on what he thought was coming out from that. But I got to tell you, CRM that starts with the customer's highest fidelity signal being their own ask of what they want to buy from you. That's not just high fidelity signal for sales. That's the highest fidelity signal that you can have for proactive service, for field service management, for anything that has to do with that customer, it all starts with them saying, I'd like to buy this, please, and configuring it themselves. Highest fidelity signal that you can have. And you cannot allow your other systems to ignore that. It's not just signal for sellers. It's not just signal for marketers to complete and understand what they want to send out into their next go-to-market motion. That high fidelity signal that comes thanks to CPQ, and with a CPQ-centric CRM solution that now includes all the sales engagement, all the understanding, all of the agentic flows that you could want for your sellers, for your marketers, for your customer service, heading into all of those nooks and crannies where our customer goes, is also fused to where your employee wants to go, and to your policies, and to your pricing, and to exactly what you need from discounting. This is about all of the data, all of the information, all of the insight coming from your customer, from your market, from your business, from your partners, fusing together. It's about everything getting a graph and a graph database that connects all of those complex systems, all of those complex nodes together. It's about being a graph of graphs. Just saying you have a customer graph, not enough. Just saying you have a knowledge graph, not enough. Saying you have a service graph, not enough. How do you connect all of those hubs and spokes? How do you connect all of that insight and intelligence so that an agentic autonomous solution can turn into something that we at Constellation have been banging on about for years now? The next step in all of this, and how we get all of this autonomous agent, autonomous action, self-service, whatever you want to think about it, it needs to start becoming ambient. It just needs to happen. And for your customers, for your employees, they need to be able to go someplace and just know, I'm going to ask once, and the rest of this just happens. You have to have the trust that all of those points, all of that connection just happens. Okay, 2 minutes turn into 16. Amazing how it happens, but thank you so much. Thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for listening. And hey, thanks to ServiceNow for having me. I got to meet all the characters from the ads. And listen, to my marketing friends, to my CMO friends, I feel like I could do a second video just on the masterclass and brand that happened at Knowledge. I probably should. I probably should do that at some point later, because it was a masterclass. And for Colin and for Jim and the entire team on the marketing team, you guys are doing marketers proud. You're showing people how it can be done in a way that is fun, that is bright, that is consistent, but that is crisp, that is clear, that's not confusing, it's not scary. No one's trying to scare you about AI at Knowledge. We're also not trying to do that at ServiceNow. And that culture flows through. And congratulations to the team. But most importantly, congratulations to the AR team. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the time that you guys put into my schedule, all of my colleagues' schedules. It was great. And until next time, until the next country release, will it be Brazil? Will it be Bogota? We'll find out, because ServiceNow will tell us. But in the meantime, check out everything that was coming through. Check out everything that's been popping in and going through everything. Thanks, guys. See you next time.